Before I start my tour, I need to have a little addition to my Land Cruiser here. I want to do a long day expedition, so I need to carry more stuff with me. For that reason, I will now get a roof tent on top of the Land Cruiser. That's why I'm on my way to Naturbummler here in Mannheim in Germany, and they will give me a roof tent. Great.
Das ist gut gemacht.
Ja. Okay. We have some problem now to get the roof tent onto my roof rack, because you can see I cannot really get my hands inside here, and also of course no tools, and we now have to get two of those things out of the roof rack, pull the roof tent down again, get those stuck to the roof tent, and then put everything back on. And yeah, the hardest part will be to fit it in the right angle so that I can get those two things back in place. It will be fun to do that. Wollen wir das abhaben. Wir müssen halt wirklich hier ziemlich auf die Millimeter genau. Okay, das nie.
Genau. Ja, weil bei dem Zelt.
Ja. Well, it took now 30 minutes to perfectly adjust the holes for the roof rack, and now I have to see if it fits here. Können wir nur hoffen, dass die hier von Rhino Rack das auf der gleichen Seite gut gebohrt haben jeweils. Ja.
Okay. Das ist recht sicher. Macht jetzt rechts gleich einen kleinen Schlag nach unten.
Ja, das liegt da drauf. Also.
Nehme ich jetzt links an.
Ja. Da müssen noch ein bisschen Zentimeter. Ja, genau, damit es
Genau,
da. Ja,
ist rechts immer noch sicher?
Ja. Warte mal.
Ich kann jetzt nichts mehr machen.
Ja, ich ziehe es jetzt langsam rüber.
Okay.
Ja, egal. Ich mache es erstmal runter. Hä? Was war knapp?
Die Leiter.
Yeah. Actually, I have no clue what they do, because you know, real men do not ever read the manual. So I just try and error here right now. So I think I have to remove this. Okay, doesn't work. Well, I know that I'm in Germany because there are more safety notes on this leather than there's any manual how to properly use it. Okay. Maybe I'm too fat to even climb up there. Perfect. Totally planned. Da müssen wir die Ameisen wieder.
Ja.
Looks good so far. Luckily, we have the guy from Naturbummler here who told me how to use the leather. Okay. We definitely need to carry an additional mattress for me. The tent is now on the roof. Only took nearly 3 hours instead of 50 minutes, but the fault is totally mine because it's a roof rack. There were 2 other people here who also got their roof tents, and it took like 1 hour for them. I'm getting ready now to photograph the Comet C 2025 PANSTARRS. It's named after the year it was discovered, 2025, by the PANSTARRS project. So this comet is quite nice right now because it has a long tail of around 20 degrees, but the problem is it's getting closer to the sun. So this is one of the last days where I can take photos of this comet. I got now all my stuff here and I'll put it in my car right now, and I will get it ready for the night so that I do not need to assemble my astronomical tracker in the middle of the night. So then when I'm on location, I just need to put my camera on the tracker and then I will get my pictures. The tracker I'm using is the Fornax Light Track II. This is quite nice because this is like the best tracker without auto guiding mobile tracker lightweight you can get. So this is the one I'm using tonight, and I will put it up on the tripod right now. So it will be ready now to use it in the night, and I need some more equipment. Of course, somehow the tracker needs to run, so I need to put power into this tracker, and I got my power with me here. And actually I'm not using one, but two power banks tonight, because yeah, the problem obviously is that there will be some fog, as nearly always when there's a clear night in spring in Germany. And so the other power bank is to heat the lens with this lens heater here, and the other one is for the tracker itself. And also I got this nice camera with me, the Pole Master. And this will be attached in the night to my tracker, and with this small computer here I will then use the camera to adapt the astronomical tracker perfectly to the Northern Star. All of this stuff will now go in the back of my car. With the camera gear I will go with the 50mm 1.4 lens, and my idea of this shot will be I will have like the comet on the right side over my car, and on the left side I will have the M31 Andromeda galaxy. And so since the comet has a 20-degree long tail, it is a perfect fit for 50mm of focal length. Since I prepared everything, I'm now pretty much ready to get my setup running. I already encountered my first problem, because this here, this is loose. This shouldn't be loose. It came loose while driving, and I tried to fix it now. After getting that done, I can now do the alignment. There's the Polaris, the star I need to align with. And the first thing is to do, I check if this rotation axis of my tracker is nearly aligned, so it's a little bit off. And I have now to rotate my whole tripod a little bit. The most important thing about the coordinates here is the latitude. So I'm now around a latitude of 50 degrees northern latitude. So this is the scale I have now to put in 50 degree. If I'm not doing this, I will search endlessly to find Polaris with the small attached camera here. So I have to keep the light track always in the right latitude. So this is already around 50 degrees for the last time, so this is fine. Now that I have it aligned nearly perfectly manually for Polaris, I need to check if this is in balance, because if this plane here is off compared to the plane of the Earth, then I will have another angle for the latitude than the angle I put in here, and this will bring me some kind of offset. You can see now here that it is indeed not perfectly aligned, and for doing that I definitely need my headlights. So I will just align it to be perfectly flat with the legs of the tripod. So we'll lower it a little bit here, and as you can see now it is aligned. So I'm now ready to deploy the camera, and it's really important to use this tripod connector, because this here gives me the possibility to rotate the camera sticking to my tripod and to the astronomical tracker. And as you can see, the tracker itself gives me 2 dimensions. So I can rotate this axis here and I can rotate this axis. So if you are good at physics, you will understand that this is only 2 room axes, and this here, this connector for the tripod, gives me the 3rd axis to rotate. And I now need to make sure that the camera is in balance around the 1st axis, around this rotational axis here. And you can see, no, it is not. I need to adjust to have it more in this direction, and now it looks fine. It seemed to be in balance. The next axis is this axis here. I need to check if it is in balance here, and well, it looks like a perfect fit. So this axis here is also in balance, and now I can rotate my camera, and I have to get the camera in a position to get the right framing, which should be something like that. I now connected the PoleMaster camera to my computer down there, and also of course gave the Light Track II some power. So this is running now, and this will be running in a few seconds, and then I will adjust the Light Track II onto Polaris. When you do this software adjustment for the first time, it will probably cost you 1 or 2 hours, because when you do it the first time, everything will be aligned so badly that in the first moment you would not even see Polaris inside of your camera. So hopefully now I will see Polaris. So I found a star which I assume is Polaris down here, but the star is off. I need to have it in the center of the software, so I need to adjust the tracker in a way that this star will be centered. So now it's moving to the right, and now the star is moving to the left. This is where I want it. I do now the fine adjustments here with the screws. This is an f1.4 lens, but I will go with 1.8 to get the stars in the edges a little bit sharper. And then of course I go with a 30 seconds exposure time, and I now need to find the comet. And I'm doing this with the interval function, the time-lapse functioning of the camera, because I'm too lazy to set up an external trigger for the camera, and with 1.8 30 seconds I do not need more exposure time, because the aperture of 1.8 gives enough light to have just a 30 seconds exposure time for my light frames, which I'm taking right now. I now got my Comet in the frame, and well, I forgot the lens heater. I will set up the lens heater also now, so that I'm not getting some foggy shots. So right now the lens heater is also running, and I will now start the camera. So now the camera is doing its job, and now I have nothing to do for the next nearly 2 hours. After 2 hours the tracker will run into its natural limit. So this is a little bit sad about this tracker. After 2 hours you have to put it back into starting position to track again for nearly 2 hours. While the other camera is now doing dark frames, I had a run against the time, because I wanted to have the car in front of the Comet and the Andromeda galaxy. And to get that shot, I parked my car and in that kind of way that I can go with 50 millimeters on this lens, and afterwards I will get both pictures together in Photoshop. So I will have the stacked and tracked deep sky photo of the comet with the Andromeda Galaxy, and I will put this over this image. So you can now say that this is a fake photo, but actually it is not, because when I'm doing a deep sky stacking with the astronomical tracker, I would have to do anyway a separate photo for my foreground. And I now made sure that this is the perfect same direction as the Comet and the Andromeda Galaxy would have been actually over the car from the position I'm shooting right now. So I'm going with 50 millimeters with this lens, and it will be perfectly together. What would be fake if I would like place the car in that direction, shoot that direction, while the Comet would be there. So what I'm doing is I'm only compensating for the disadvantage of the camera, because if I would have a perfect camera, I would just take one photo of the car aligned with the Comet and the Andromeda Galaxy, and I would have a noiseless, perfect deep sky photo. But I cannot do that because I have the pixel noise of the camera itself, so I need to adapt for those technical problems. I'm doing this in the blue hour because this is a time where there is no shadows. It's the same light situation as in the night, but of course with a much higher brightness. So I can make this foreground shot look like it was taken in the night, because same light situation, but I have the advantage of having enough light to easily get a bright image. So when it comes to exposure stacking in the deep sky photography, when you want to have a foreground combined with the stars, you can either go for the blue hour, or you can have a super long exposure time in the middle of the night. It comes out to like the same light situation, because as you can see, there is no casted shadow except of the one I'm getting right now from the light in front of me. So I'm now going for an aperture of 2.8, 30 seconds, ISO 400, and you can see this gets the shadow side. There's a little bit of a shadow side because of the high contrast. You can see there's a high contrast between the car and the sky, and yeah, this will be brighter when I have the post-processing, and then I will have the Comet here on the right side, and I will have the Andromeda Galaxy somewhere there. Well, that's it. See you next time, and hopefully you liked this type of astrophotography session. I'm now really needing some sleep, and I will go crawl into my rooftop tent and I will get some hours of sleep before driving home. Wish you something.